The galaxy was quiet. Too quiet. For many years, no one dared to speak loudly against the Zorvax Dominion. They were the strongest force in space. Their ships were huge. Their weapons were deadly. Their armies never lost. Wherever they went, planets surrendered. No fight. No resistance. No hope. People said it was useless to stand against them, so they did not try. On a small command ship near the edge of the Milky Way, Commander Threx stood on the bridge. He was tall, with dark blue skin and glowing yellow eyes. He had ruled over hundreds of planets, and he had never failed. "Report," Threx said calmly. An officer stepped forward. "Commander, Planet R-17 has surrendered. No weapons fired. No losses." Threx nodded. "Of course they did," he said. "They always do." Another officer spoke. "Planet Varnes also surrendered. They opened their gates before we arrived." Threx smiled slightly. Fear was better than war. Fear saved time. Fear saved energy. And fear gave him power. Far away on a small blue planet called Earth, people watched the same news. Screens showed alien ships floating above helpless worlds. Cities destroyed. Flags lowered. Leaders kneeling. In a quiet control room, Captain Ryan Cole stared at the screen. He was human, 38 years old, short brown hair, tired eyes, but inside him burned something strong. Anger. "This has to stop," he whispered. Beside him stood Lieutenant Sarah Miles. "They are too powerful," she said softly. "No one has beaten them." Ryan turned to her. "Then we will try." Sarah looked at him in surprise. "Try? With what? One ship?" Ryan looked at the window. Outside floated their only warship, the EFS Horizon. It was not big. It was not famous. It was not feared. But it was fast. And it was smart. And it was built by humans who never gave up. 3 days later, the Zorvax fleet arrived near planet Demos. Another weak world. Another easy win. Commander Threx sat on his throne-like chair. "Open communication," he ordered. A large screen lit up. The face of Planet Demo's leader appeared. The leader looked tired and scared. "We surrender," he said quickly. "Please spare our people." Threx raised one claw. "Accepted," he replied. Then suddenly, an alarm sounded. "Commander!" an officer shouted. "Unknown object detected." Threx frowned. "Explain." "A small ship just entered the zone. Human design." Silence filled the bridge. "Human?" Threx repeated. Yes, he had heard of them. A young species. Weak. Divided. Always fighting each other. They were not important. "Put it on screen," he said. The screen changed. A single ship appeared. Small. Gray. Simple. It floated between the Zorvax fleet and planet Demos. Like a tiny wall. Like a foolish challenge. Some officers laughed. "Is this a joke?" one said. "One ship against us?" Another added. Threx leaned forward. "Open channel," he ordered. A few seconds later, a human face appeared. Captain Ryan Cole. Calm. Focused. Unafraid. "This is Captain Ryan Cole of the Earth Fleet," Ryan said. "You are entering protected space." Threx laughed loudly. "Protected by whom?" he asked. "You." "Yes," Ryan replied. The bridge went silent. No one had ever spoken like that before. Threx narrowed his eyes. "Human," he said slowly, "move aside. This planet is now ours." Ryan shook his head. "No." A simple word, but it felt heavy. "No." Threx repeated. "Yes," Ryan said. "No." Sarah whispered. "Ryan?" He raised his hand. Threx's voice grew cold. "You do not understand. We conquer systems. We destroy fleets. We erase worlds." Ryan looked straight into the camera. "We understand," he said, "and we still say no." The Zorvax officers began to speak loudly. "Destroy them. They are insulting us. And this now." Threx raised his claw. "Wait." He looked at Ryan. "You are brave," Threx said, "or foolish. I will give you one chance. Leave." Ryan took a deep breath. Behind him, his crew waited. Some were scared. Some were shaking. Some were praying. But none left their station. "We will not leave," Ryan said. Not today. Not ever. Threx stood up. So be it. He turned to his weapons officer. Fire warning shot. A massive cannon charged. Energy glowed like a small star. Then, boom, a beam shot across space. It passed close to the horizon. Too close. The ship shook. Alarms rang. Sarah grabbed her chair. Shields at 40%, she shouted. Ryan stayed calm. All systems stable, he said. Return fire. Level 1. Level 1. Sarah asked. Yes. A small turret moved. A thin beam shot out. It hit one Zorvax escort ship. The ship exploded. Gone. Just like that. Silence. Shock. Disbelief. On Threx's bridge, officers stared at the screen. One of our ships is destroyed. An officer whispered. That is impossible. Another said. Threx's eyes widened. No one had ever done that before. Never. How? He asked. The human ship was too small. Too weak. Or so he thought. On the horizon, Sarah stared at the screen. We destroyed it, she said. Ryan nodded. Good. But that was only level 1, she said. Yes, Ryan replied quietly. Threx clenched his claws. Full attack, he roared. Erase them. Dozens of cannons charged. Hundreds of missiles locked on. Space lit up. The attack came like a storm. Ryan spoke calmly. Activate Shadow Shield. A strange field formed around the ship. Enemy fire hit it and disappeared like water on glass. Nothing passed through. The Zorvax bridge fell into chaos. Our weapons are useless. They are not taking damage. What is happening? Threx felt something new. Fear. Real fear. Ryan looked at his crew. This is it, he said. We show them who we are. Prepare phase 2. Yes, Captain. The crew replied together. The horizon changed shape. Hidden weapons opened. Engines glowed brighter. Power surged. Sarah whispered. They are not ready. No, Ryan said. They are not. Threx stared at the human ship. It no longer looked small. It looked dangerous. Very dangerous. Retreat. An officer suggested. Threx shook his head. No, we do not retreat. But his voice was weaker now. Suddenly, Ryan spoke again. This is your last warning, he said. Leave the system. Threx said nothing. He could not. He did not know what to say. The horizon moved forward. Slowly. Confidently. Like a hunter. Like a promise. Like the start of something new. Across the galaxy, systems watched. For the first time in history, someone was standing up. Someone was saying no. And the Zorvax Dominion was shaking. The silence after the first clash hung heavy in space. Commander Threx sat on his bridge, his claws tapping the armrest nervously. For centuries, he had never faced defiance like this. Not a single planet had resisted him before. Not one human ship had dared to stand so boldly in the Dominion's path. And now, one small vessel, fragile, unimpressive, almost laughable, had already destroyed one of his escort ships. Threx stared at the screens, studying the human vessel. The ship's name, EFS Horizon, glowed boldly in letters that seemed far too confident for its size. How could a single, seemingly weak ship dare to challenge him? This is impossible, muttered one officer, voice trembling. Threx did not reply. He did not need to. He already knew the answer. Humans were unpredictable, dangerous. They were small but cunning, like foxes hiding among wolves. Meanwhile, on the horizon, Captain Ryan Cole leaned over the bridge console. Damage report, he asked calmly. Lieutenant Sarah Miles tapped the controls, bringing up the readouts. All minor, she said. Shields at 80%. Weapons fully operational. Enemy fleet is regrouping. Ryan nodded. He studied the vast expanse of alien ships before them. Hundreds of warships hovered like a dark storm across the void of space. Their cannons glinted menacingly. Missiles loaded. Energy beams crackled. Level 2. Sarah asked, a hint of doubt in her voice. Ryan shook his head. Not yet. First, we need their attention. Let them know humans don't fight the way others do. Let them fear. Sarah frowned. Fear? They already destroyed one of our ships. They must see us as weak. Ryan smiled faintly. No, they think they destroyed it. But what they saw was only the beginning. Back on the Dominion's flagship, the Zorvax officers were panicked. "Commander," said one officer, voice quivering. "They survived the first attack with minimal damage. How is that possible?" Threx's yellow eyes glowed with a dangerous light. "They are humans," he said quietly. "Never underestimate humans. Should we retreat?" Another officer asked, trembling. Threx slammed a claw on the console. "Retreat? Never. We have not faced a true opponent in centuries. I will not bow to a single human ship." He stood and looked at the massive fleet. "Prepare a warning strike. Target their engines. Show them what the Dominion is capable of. But approach carefully. They are small, yes, but they are clever. Very clever." The Horizon moved like a shadow through the void, weaving between beams of alien fire. The ship's engines left a faint blue trail that glimmered like a comet. "Missiles incoming," called a weapons officer. "Evasive maneuvers," Ryan ordered. The human ship twisted and turned, dodging missiles with astonishing precision. One beam shot past the hull and struck an enemy ship, detonating it instantly. "Nice shot," Sarah said, her eyes wide. Ryan nodded. "Keep moving. Make them waste their firepower. Patience wins battles." For the aliens, patience was not a concept they understood. The Dominion thrived on brute force, speed, and dominance. This small human vessel had already disrupted their entire strategy. "Commander Threx," one officer said, "their shields are holding. Our weapons barely scratch them." Threx's claws clenched. His pride was wounded. "Increase power to full. All cannons. All ships. Fire at will." The fleet responded with a deafening roar. Thousands of energy beams streaked across space, turning the darkness into a deadly display of light. The Horizon shields flared, absorbing the hits. Systems strained. Sparks flew across consoles, but the human ship moved like a predator among predators. "Focus on their formation," Ryan ordered. "Draw them in. Make them overconfident." The humans had a plan. They always had a plan. As the Dominion's fleet advanced, the Horizon emitted a signal, a strange pulse in the frequency that the Zorvax could not ignore. Their communications jammed for a split second. Just enough. Ryan hit a button. "Phase 2, activate." From hidden compartments, the human ship deployed a series of micro-drones. They shot forward at incredible speed, small as insects but armed with energy disruptors. The drones weaved through the alien fleet, hitting engines, guidance systems, and weapons arrays. "Report," Sarah yelled. 3 escort ships disabled. 2 more losing power. The Dominion fleet staggered. Confusion spread like wildfire. "This cannot be happening," Threx growled. In the midst of chaos, Ryan spoke to his crew. "Remember, we are humans. We survive against impossible odds. We fight smarter, not bigger. Keep calm. Follow the plan." Every officer nodded. Every hand moved with precision. Fear existed, yes, but it was under control. Determination burned brighter. The Dominion, however, was not used to fear being returned. They were used to trembling opponents, surrendering worlds and empty threats. One small ship daring to defy them, daring to fight back, was a shock to their system. Hours passed. Space was littered with debris. Alien ships were damaged. Some retreated. Others tried new formations. But the humans adapted, dodging, striking, and confusing the fleet. Captain Ryan decided it was time to send a message. "Open channel," he ordered. The Dominion hesitated. Commander Threx finally allowed it. Ryan's face appeared on their screens again, calm, steady, unafraid. "This is your first and only warning," Ryan said. "Leave the system now. Do not underestimate humans. We will not surrender. We will not flee. We will not hesitate to defend our people." Silence. Then Threx spoke. "You are arrogant, human. Do you know what you're saying?" "Yes," Ryan said. "And we mean every word." The Zorvax stared at him, unsure how to respond. That tiny human ship had shaken them, confused them, humiliated them in front of their fleet. Ryan and Sarah prepared for the next move. "Phase 3, Ryan said quietly. "Ready the railguns. Target the command ships. Make it quick. Make it precise. The human ship glowed briefly as energy built up. The first shot fired, a perfect lethal strike. It hit a Zorvax command ship dead center, obliterating it instantly. The shockwave rippled through the alien formation. Impact confirmed, Sarah said. Multiple systems offline. On Threx's bridge, alarm screamed. Lights flashed red. Officers shouted over chaos. For the first time, Threx felt true doubt. He realized something terrifying. These humans were not just fighting for survival. They were teaching the galaxy a new lesson. As the day passed, the battle slowed. Both sides paused, observing. The humans were still capable. The Zorvax were still powerful. But something had shifted. The Horizon drifted near planet Demos. Its crew looked tired but resolute. Ryan spoke softly. We made them think twice. That is enough for now. We can't destroy them all. Not yet, but we can survive. And survival is the first step to victory. Sarah nodded. They won't forget us. No, Ryan said. And that is exactly what we want. Commander Threx, however, was furious. He stared at the human ship on his main screen. The defiance, the confidence, the skill, it was all unacceptable. Prepare a full fleet attack, he ordered. No mercy. End this human rebellion now. One officer hesitated. Commander, they are different, too clever, too unpredictable. Threx roared, slamming his claw. I do not care. If they survive this, then we bring everything we have. We will show them the Dominion is not be defied. And with that, a new wave of alien ships surged forward. The humans, however, were ready. Ryan watched the screens. This is it, he said. We cannot outrun them forever. But we can make every second count. Every shot matters. Every decision can save lives. Sarah, clench your fists. Are we ready for the next phase? Ryan smiled. We have no choice. But yes, we are humans. We never surrender. Not now. Not ever. And with that, the small EFS Horizon moved forward again, facing a galaxy that had never seen a human defy its greatest conquerors. The galaxy was watching. News of the lone human ship standing against the mighty Zorvax Dominion had spread quickly across countless star systems. People whispered stories of courage. Some cheered secretly. Others feared openly. But everywhere, the same thought lingered. Humans are not like the others. On Earth, the EFS Horizon floated quietly near the edge of planet Demo's orbit. Its small crew worked tirelessly, monitors flickering, weapon systems humming. Captain Ryan Cole walked down the narrow corridor toward the command deck. His boots echoed softly. Each step carried weight. The weight of lives, of hope, of the galaxy itself. Sarah Miles joined him. Captain, sensors are picking up more alien reinforcements. Hundreds of ships approaching, she said, pointing to the holographic map. Ryan studied it carefully. Yes, I expected nothing less. They are regrouping, planning, calculating. They think overwhelming force will work. Sarah frowned. And will it? Ryan smiled faintly. No, humans fight differently. We think, we adapt, we survive. That's our edge. Back on the Dominion flagship, Commander Threx pounded his claws against the console. How can one ship, one human ship, cause this much disruption? He shouted. One officer, trembling, said, It is not just a ship, Commander. It is strategy, coordination. Humans, they are unpredictable. Threx growled. Unpredictable or not, we will crush them. Send the fleet. All weapons. No retreat. No hesitation. The Dominion ships accelerated, their massive forms cutting through the void like dark comets. Missiles charged. Beams lined up. The galaxy's deadliest fleet prepared to strike. On the horizon, Ryan gave orders. Prepare Phase 3, he said calmly. This is more than defense. This is a warning they will never forget. Lieutenant Miles and the weapons crew worked furiously. Energy levels climbed. Micro-drones activated. Railguns powered up. Every system was at its maximum. Ryan walked past them, stopping briefly at the viewport. The stars stretched endlessly, like a sea of darkness. He whispered, They've never faced humans like us. Sarah watched him, noticing the calm determination in his eyes. "We have to hold, Captain. The odds are impossible." Ryan interrupted. "Yes, but we are human. Impossible is just the beginning." The first wave of Zorvax ships arrived. Hundreds of vessels. Some massive, some small. They moved in perfect formation, almost like a single living organism. Their weapons locked onto the horizon. Energy beams lit the darkness like streaks of lightning. "Hold steady," Ryan said. "Wait for the right moment." The first barrage hit. The horizon shook violently. Shields flared red. Sparks flew across the deck. Crew members held on to railings. "Damage report." Ryan shouted. "Minor," Sarah replied. "Shields down to 60%. Weapons operational. Hull intact." Ryan nodded. "Good. Now we make them regret underestimating humans." He activated the railguns. Massive beams of energy shot from the horizon, cutting through enemy escort ships with precision. Each shot took out key systems, causing chaos in the formation. The Dominion fleet faltered. Confusion spread. Threx's officers shouted orders. Missiles missed. Beams collided mid-space, destroying their own ships. "This is impossible," Threx growled. "They are too precise, too coordinated." Ryan watched the chaos unfold. They think numbers win battles. But they forget one thing. Humans fight with courage, intelligence, and heart. The battle raged on for hours. Human micro-drones swarmed, striking engine sensors and weapon systems. Enemy ships exploded in brilliant flashes. The horizon dodged and weaved like a predator, small but deadly. "Captain," Sarah said, "we can't hold them forever. More reinforcements are coming." Ryan nodded. "I know, but we don't need forever. We only need the turning point." He tapped a sequence on the console. A special signal flashed across the fleet sensors. Some Zorvax ships froze. Systems disrupted. Confusion spread like wildfire. "This is it," Ryan said. "Time to strike their heart." Aboard the Dominion flagship, Threx realized the humans were not just surviving. They were striking at the very command of his fleet. "Lock off fire on that ship," he roared. "Destroy it before it destroys everything." But it was too late. From hidden compartments, the Horizon launched stealth drones toward the flagship. Each drone carried a miniature energy disruptor. Within minutes, the flagship's shields faltered. Energy beams misfired. Command systems glitched. Threx's yellow eyes widened in shock. "Impossible." Ryan spoke calmly into the comms. "You see, Commander, humans do not fight the way you expect. We adapt, we endure, and we strike when the time is right." In the chaos, one human crew member noticed a Zorvax boarding craft moving toward the horizon. "Captain, boarding craft inbound." Ryan clenched his fists. "Deploy countermeasures. Do not let them touch our ship." Tiny turrets popped out from hidden panels, firing precise shots. The boarding craft exploded in a flash. Sarah looked at him in awe. "Captain, they can't believe we're doing this." Ryan shook his head. "They should. They will." As night passed in space, the Dominion fleet began to retreat slightly, not because they were defeated, but because they were shaken. Humans had shown them a new kind of strength, defiance, intelligence, and unwavering courage. Threx gritted his teeth. "This is not over. They may survive today, but they will not survive tomorrow. Send everything. I want them crushed." Ryan watched the retreating fleet. "They will come back," he said, "but so will we." Suddenly, sensors picked up another signal. A small human fleet emerging from Earth's orbit. "Captain, reinforcements." Sarah exclaimed. Ryan smiled faintly. "Good. The galaxy will see we are not alone." The small fleet moved in perfect formation, joining the horizon. Together. They were still tiny compared to the Dominion. But now, numbers were not the only advantage. Strategy, courage, and hope had joined them. That night, Ryan walked to the observation deck. He stared at the stars, thinking about the galaxy's future. "We are humans," he whispered. "Small, fragile, underestimated. But we are not weak. Not now. Not ever. The galaxy will learn that." Sarah joined him silently. No words were needed. They both knew the stakes. They both knew the path ahead, would be dangerous. But for the first time in history, humanity had a chance to rise. Not just to survive, but to lead. Back on the Dominion flagship, Threx sat in silence. His officers avoided his gaze. "The humans, they are more than we thought," one said quietly. Threx did not respond immediately. Then he said, almost to himself, "Then we will test them, crush them completely. And if they survive, then we will remember their faces, and they will remember ours." The galaxy had changed. One human ship had not only survived, it had sparked a fire, and fires, once started, could not be easily extinguished. The galaxy held its breath. Every system, every planet. Every fleet watched as a small human ship, the EFS Horizon, and its fledgling fleet faced the mighty Zorvax Dominion. For the first time in history, the Dominion was not the unquestioned master. And yet, they were far from defeated. Commander Threx's anger had grown into obsession. Prepare all weapons, all ships, every cannon, every missile, he roared. His claws slammed against the console, sending sparks flying. "We will destroy these humans. We will show the galaxy that defiance has a cost." But his officers hesitated. They had never seen such a small opponent cause so much chaos. The humans were not just offending. They were predicting, countering, and striking with precision that no one had imagined. On the horizon, Captain Ryan Cole surveyed the battlefield. The Dominion fleet had regrouped. Hundreds of ships now swarmed the area, forming a wall of death. The stars around them flickered as cannons fired, missiles streaked across space, and energy beams painted trails of destruction. Sarah Miles looked at the screens, jaw tight. "Captain, they're stronger than before. They've learned from our attacks." Ryan nodded. "Good. Let them learn. It will only make their mistakes more predictable." He tapped the sequence on the console. Phase 4. Prepare the fleet. Hidden in the Horizon's cargo hold were the newest weapons humanity had ever built. Stealth drones, micromissiles, energy disruptors, and the prototype gravity lances. Weapons that could manipulate localized gravity to crush ships or disable engines. Ryan turned to his crew. "We are not fighting for survival anymore. We are fighting for the galaxy's chance to breathe freely. Every strike must count. Precision over power. Strategy over size." The crew nodded, determination burning in their eyes. The first wave of Zorvax ships attacked. Energy beams lashed the horizon. Missiles tore through the void, exploding in showers of fire. Shields holding barely. Sarah shouted. Ryan clenched his fists. "Engage stealth drones. Target engines and communications. Take their fleet apart piece by piece." Hundreds of tiny drones shot out from the human ships. They were nearly invisible against the blackness of space. They twisted through enemy formations, disabling engines and weapon systems. Ships that had seemed invincible now faltered. On the Dominion flagship, Threx watched in disbelief. "They adapt too fast," he shouted. "Their tactics impossible." One officer stammered. "Commander, their movements are coordinated, almost like they know our strategy before we execute it." Threx's yellow eyes narrowed. He had underestimated humans. For centuries, he had relied on brute force, speed, size. He had never faced a species that could think this way under pressure. "Divert everything to target the horizon," Threx ordered. "Destroy at all costs." The battle escalated. The horizon moved like a ghost through the chaos, small but deadly. Railguns fired with surgical precision, targeting command ships. Micromissiles struck engine cores. Energy disruptors disabled shields. Impact confirmed on 3 command ships. Sarah yelled, "They're losing formation." Ryan's voice was calm, almost serene. "Good. Now we push them further. Lead them into the trap." He tapped the sequence for the gravity lances. Target the capital fleet. Focus on the main engines. Concentrate fire in the center. Let the rest collapse around it. The human fleet moved in perfect unison, a synchronized predator circling a massive prey. On board the Dominion flagship, Threx's fury turned to fear. Ships around him were exploding, communication was failing, and key systems were offline. His officers panicked. "Commander, if we continue, the fleet will collapse entirely," one warned. Threx slammed his claw. "No, Humans will not dictate terms to the Dominion. But deep inside, he felt the first real doubt he had ever experienced. The Horizon and its small fleet circled the Dominion's main force. Gravity lances activated. Massive beams of gravitational energy ripped through the fleet. Ships collided with each other, destroyed themselves, or were thrown into the void. The Dominion was powerful, but the humans were smarter. Look at them. Sarah shouted. They're falling apart. Ryan did not smile. He knew this was only the beginning. Phase 4 complete, he said. Now we hit the heart. The heart of the Dominion fleet was its command ship. Threx's flagship had been damaged, but it still commanded loyalty. If destroyed, the Dominion would scatter, or worse, surrender. Ryan activated the stealth drones carrying energy disruptors and microgravity bombs. They slipped past the defenses, invisible to the Dominion sensors. Within minutes, the flagship's shields faltered. Systems glitched. Weapons misfired. Threx realized too late what was happening. No, impossible. The flagship shook violently as the Horizon's attack struck dead center. Energy cores erupted. Explosions rumbled across the ship. Hundreds of Zorvax officers were thrown from their stations. The flagship was crippled, but the humans were not finished. Ryan turned to his crew. This is it. Their fleet is weak, their flagship vulnerable. But we must strike decisively. Do not destroy everything. Leave a lesson. Leave fear. Leave hope. Micro-drones zipped through the fleet, disabling remaining ships. Energy beams sliced through engines. Missiles tore apart weapon arrays. One by one, the Dominion ships fell silent or retreated. The galaxy watched in awe. In the Dominion fleet, Commander Threx struggled to maintain control. The humans had done the impossible. One small fleet had shattered his command structure, destroyed his flagship, and left him humiliated. You cannot be allowed to survive. Threx growled. Send everything we have. End them. Ryan and the Horizon anticipated it. The human fleet moved into defensive formation, guiding the remaining Zorvax ships into zones filled with gravity lances and energy traps. The final wave hit with devastating precision. By dawn, the Dominion fleet was retreating in disarray. The humans had won the battle, but the victory was not without cost. Several human ships were damaged. Some were lost entirely. Crew members had died. The Horizon itself was scarred, but still standing. Ryan looked over the bridge. The crew was exhausted, but their eyes held fire. We survived, he said quietly. We showed them that humans will not bow, that we will fight, that we can rise. Sarah placed a hand on his shoulder. Captain, we did more than survive. We changed the galaxy. Ryan nodded. Yes, but the war is not over. This is only the turning point. Far across the galaxy, planets that had trembled under the Dominion's rule now whispered hope. For the first time, someone had stood against the Zorvax and lived. Even the Dominion feared the humans now. Commander Threx's pride was shattered, replaced by a grudging respect and a dangerous obsession. He would not forget this. He would not forgive. But for now, the humans had shown the galaxy something remarkable. Courage, intelligence, and unity could defeat the mightiest force in the universe. And that was only the beginning. The galaxy was quiet again, but this time it was a quiet filled with awe and fear. The Zorvax Dominion, the empire that had ruled countless systems without challenge, had retreated. Their fleet was battered, their flagship destroyed, and their pride shattered. For the first time in centuries, their enemies had survived. And not only survived, they had fought back, and they had won. On the bridge of the EFS Horizon, Captain Ryan Cole watched the retreating Zorvax fleet with a mixture of relief and caution. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. Status report, he said calmly. Lieutenant Sarah Miles checked the monitors. Shields are at 70%. Weapons fully operational. No major casualties this time. Most of the fleet survived. We did it! Ryan nodded. Yes, but the galaxy is still unstable. People will panic if they see the Dominion return. We need a new order. Across space, systems that had once bowed without question began to speak. Small planets, minor star systems, even isolated colonies, all watched humanity's actions closely. For the first time, a new idea was spreading. Resistance was possible. Survival was possible. Hope was possible. Ryan turned to his officers. We cannot just fight and win. We must lead. The galaxy needs to see that humans do not conquer, they protect. That is our message. On the Dominion flagship, Commander Threx roared in anger. How could they, one species, one small fleet, cause this much chaos, he demanded. One officer dared to speak. Commander, they are different, clever, brave. They fight with strategy, not just force. They think. They adapt. That is why we cannot destroy them. Threx narrowed his eyes. Then we will remember them. And when the time comes, we will strike back. But for now, retreat. He sat down in his command chair, fists clenched. The retreating fleet moved slowly, battered and humiliated. For the first time in history, the Dominion had been forced to respect an opponent. Back on the horizon, Ryan began sending out messages across the galaxy. Attention all systems, he broadcasted. The Zorvax Dominion no longer rules you. Humanity stands as a guardian of peace. We do not seek war. We seek justice. We seek balance. Those who wish to live freely may join us. Those who resist, we will defend ourselves. But we will not destroy unnecessarily. Humanity fights to protect, not to conquer. Across countless star systems, species listened. Some cried tears of joy. Some cheered quietly in fear. Some were skeptical, but all knew one truth. Humanity had changed the rules. As the days passed, the humans worked tirelessly to establish communication with the remaining independent planets. The Dominion was weakened but still present in some sectors. Ryan and his fleet became ambassadors as well as warriors. One planet, Raven Prime, had been under Dominion occupation for centuries. Its people were afraid to speak. But when Ryan's message reached them, their leaders emerged from hiding. We have hope now, said a Raven Prime counselor. We thought no one could resist the Dominion, but your people, humans, showed us courage. Ryan smiled. You are not alone. Together, we can defend our systems. Together, we can build a galaxy where no one is oppressed. Sarah Miles watched him, admiration in her eyes. Captain, do you think they'll ever attack again? Ryan shook his head. Perhaps, but the galaxy knows now that humans do not back down, and that knowledge is stronger than any fleet. He paused, looking at the stars stretching endlessly before them. This is only the beginning. A new order will rise, not from fear, not from domination, but from unity and courage. The Dominion, meanwhile, was regrouping, but something had changed in their ranks. Commander Threx's officers whispered among themselves. The humans, they are dangerous, not because of their weapons, but because of their will, their courage, their ability to inspire others. We cannot underestimate them again. Threx listened silently. For the first time, he realized that conquest alone would no longer suffice. Strategy, foresight, and understanding were needed to maintain power in a galaxy now aware of human strength. Months passed. Humanity worked to unite the systems that had been under Dominion rule. Small fleets were dispatched not to conquer, but to protect. Human diplomacy, combined with careful show of strength, established a network of alliances. Even planets that had once mocked Earth's tiny ships now respected the humans who had faced down the galaxy's most feared conquerors. Trade routes reopened, colonies rebuilt, and communication networks thrived. Captain Ryan Cole oversaw it all, always cautious, always vigilant, but never arrogant. One evening, he stood on the observation deck of the Horizon, watching a new human fleet pass through the stars. Ships of all sizes, built on Earth colonies, and allied planets, all moving in formation not for war but for peace. Sarah Miles joined him quietly. They call it the Human Fleet of Unity now, she said softly. Everywhere, people speak of you, of us, of what humans did. Ryan nodded, staring at the horizon. Unity is our weapon now. Courage is our shield. Fear is no longer our tool. We fight not to dominate, but to protect, and that is the real power of humanity. The Dominion had not vanished completely, but their reign of fear was broken. Humanity had proven that strength was more than ships or weapons. It was willpower, strategy, and heart. Across the galaxy, Civilizations began to rebuild. Former enemies cooperated. Independent species joined alliances. And in the center of it all, humans stood as a symbol of resistance, hope, and courage. Back on Earth, Ryan received a message from a distant planet. "Captain," the message began, "we wish to join your alliance. Humans have shown us the way. We no longer fear the Dominion. Together, we can ensure freedom." Ryan smiled. "Prepare for their arrival," he replied. "This is how a new order begins. Not through fear, not through conquest, but through trust, courage, and unity." And as the stars glimmered across the void, Captain Ryan Cole and the EFS Horizon sailed forward, not as a lone ship, but as the spearhead of a new era. A galaxy that had trembled under oppression now had a protector. Humanity had risen, not just to fight, but to lead, to inspire, and to change the destiny of the stars forever. For the first time in history, the galaxy understood that strength was not in domination, but in courage, unity, and the unyielding human spirit. The humans had won more than a battle. They had created a new order, and that order would endure. The end of they conquered the galaxy without resistance. Then a human warship said no,